was woven into the land. Forests spread vibrantly, and trees often boast nearly as many colors as leaves, touched by the wonders of the spirit realm. But there is one forest hidden away that draws on a different kind of magic, a garden with a tree at its heart that gathers humanity's dreams in its blooms. The dreaming tree grew from a seed of the god willow, which towered over the ancient grove of Oikmikalania, cast loose when the god willow was tragically felled. The seed took root in what came to be known as the Garden of Forgetting, nurtured by the Green Father, Ivern, as many of the descendants in Omikana, Kayalana, where the dreaming tree spiraled up, spreading the magic of humanity's desires each time the dream-laden buds loomed. Lillia was born when one of the tree's own dreams was captured in a bud that fell to the ground before it could bloom, something that never happened before, sprouting into an awkward fawn creature with the flower bud still on her head. Lilia's only company was her mother tree, and the dreams that drifted her to the garden each night. Lilia helped tend to the buds and learned about humanities through them. Enchanted by the people and the places she glimpsed, she spent every waking moment experiencing a swirl of emotions and desires that mortals could only see when they closed their eyes. Caring for the dreams, Lilia also cared for the dreamers. She came to consider each one of them a new friend, wanting nothing more than to one day greet the people who imagined such wonders. Lilia wanted it so badly that her own desires eventually gathered in a bud on the tree. But when Lilia finally did meet humans, it wasn't like remembering a familiar dream. It was more like waking up. Something was happening in the world outside Lilia's forest. War blazed like a fire through the land, and in time, fewer dreams began to reach the garden. The tree itself grew sick and became infested with burls, writhing tangles in its trunk which oozed darkness. Lilia did her best to nurture her mother's tree and the dreams that remained in its buds, but it was not long before the garden became so weak that the violence of the world spilled in. One night, warriors entered the forest and chased a lone figure all the way to the dreaming tree. With a single errant blade's slash, the branch containing Lilia's unrealized dream came thudding to the ground. Lilia panicked and forced them all to sleep. Shocked at the difference between the mortals she thought she had doomed and the ones she had found, they were so afraid. More tangle that sparkle. They were like the pearls. But as the warrior slept and Lilia wept, a tree emerged from the lone figure that the others had been chasing. Weakly, it floated towards the broken branch on the ground and moved into the bot's bud. Lilia picked it up. She could feel the dream as she whispered to it and soothed it. It glowed ever brighter, and so did she. The bud upon her head unfurled, and magic swirled around like a sparkling pollen. In that moment, swept up in possibility and wonder, Lilia herself bloomed, until, with a sneeze, she sent the magic curling into the surrounding forest. The humans awoke one by one, unable to remember what had brought them to the forest or what they had done. None noticed the timid fawn behind the tree. With her glimpses of who they could be and what they may be trapped beneath their tangles. By helping humans realize their deepest wishes, Lillia realizes her own, the bud on her head blooming as she is filled with joy. Though darkness may be encroaching on Ionia once more, it is but a mask, and beneath it lies the familiar sparkle of hope. Only by braving the world and braving herself can Lillia hope to untangle its pearls. The Garden of Dreaming. The child slowly makes her way into the forest, and sometimes beneath the forest, as the canopy of leaves weaves a green blanket against the clouds. Oh, and sometimes over the forest, when there are roots. Don't trip, little girl, don't trip. And now she is going through it, toward me. Eep. I stand in the shadows beyond the path leading away from the little girl's village, where countless humans have gathered. The small butt of my head peeks out from behind a bush. My hooves dig nervously furrowed into the ground, and I hug the branch from Mother Tree tightly to my chest, comforted by the familiar swirling feeling of the bark. It is safe here in the trees, or maybe a few more steps behind them, just a few more. Even with so many humans in the village filling the hillside with life, the girl is alone. I hold my branch tighter, reminding myself of what I have to do. It is time to move forward, Lillia. Just one step. You can do this. Mother Tree is sick. She needs the girl's dream. I take the step, or at least my hooves shifts a little. Oh, that didn't go very far. Okay, Lillia. Another one. This time, I lift one shaky hoof up, and before I can get too afraid, I slam it back down. Whoopsies, that was backwards. The girl stops to sit beneath the tree not so far away from where I'm watching, just close enough that I can hear her crying softly into a ragged doll cradled in her arms. There is no one to wipe away her tears. The bud dangling from the tip of the pot shudders to radiate life now that it is sensed in the child in her dream. Like the small flower on my head, the glowing bud and branch are also from Mother Tree, drawn to dreams just as much as the slumbering magic is drawn to them. Glittering pollen drifts from between its petals, and the shadows around me recede, fleeing in the light before I can. My hoof is showing. I sprawl and contort all four of my legs to fit in the shrinking shadow, wobbling as my balance threatens to give. The glimmering bud swings wildly as the pot sways with me, casting clouds of dust like pollen that drift towards the girl through the leaves. And then, as the shadows move again, I stumble into the clearing where she awaits. All I can do is peer at her from behind my branch, too afraid to blink. But she doesn't see me. She presses her face into the doll, hiding her tears. Her sobs turn to whimpers, her whimpers into sighs. The pollen from the bud gradually settles around her, twinkling as the girl's eyes slowly flutter closed. She slumps against the tree, and the doll sliding from her grasp. I'm still too afraid to move. Something twirls out of the pot's bud and dances above my head. It's my old friend, a little dream that's traveled with me since I first left Mother's Tree's mystical garden. As if sensing the other dreams, I snuggled inside the girl. My glittering friend dances through the air towards her. Okay, I messed that up. I'm still afraid to move. Something twirls out of the pot's bud and dances above my head. It's my old friend, a little dream that's traveled with me since I first left Mother's Dream's mystical garden, as if sensing the other dream still snuggled inside the girl. My glittering friend dances through the air towards her. That was a close one, I say, as the dream flits back and forth. It skims above the girl and leaves a trail of sparkles that tickles her skin, until she smacks her lips and wrinkles her nose. She snorts so loudly that I leap again, landing with a blush. I touch the petals of the small bud on my head, wondering if they're flushing as red as my cheeks. The child remains fast asleep. Wise in her dream coming out, my friend continues to spin around the girl, trying to summon the other dream, but my eyes are drawn to the doll on the ground instead. The girl's hanging. My friend continues to spin around the girl, trying to summon the other dream, but my eyes are drawn to the doll on the ground. The girl's hand hanging, as if she still reaches for it, her fingers squeezing tight. Before I left the garden, the place that was my home, I used to think that dreams were the things people wanted most every time they closed their eyes. But now, I see that it's the things they want, that what they reach for and hold on to only make them sad. The thing I want most, which was to meet the dreamers, our mother dream. But what if dreams aren't the things we want? I put down my branch. This time, you can do it, Lillia. Just close your eyes, like you're sleeping. Stumbling forward, I kneel beside the girl and take up her doll. What if dreams are the things we need? I start to hand the doll back to the girl, wary of getting this close, even to such a small human instinctively. She rolls over as she feels it against her chest, sitting up to put the doll into a hug. Her tiny arms are just as long enough to wrap around me as well. As she hugs the doll, she pulls me in closer and closer, and in that moment, we both find what we need to bloom. The girl's dream finally emerges in a luminous swirl, spiraling and dancing alongside my old friend, and filling the forest with so many wonders that I can feel it all the way down to my hooves. I want to prance, like a color that has no name. Each dream is so hard to describe. Is this the dream, the girl's sister, wrapping in her in its arms, although the sister have already said goodbye? Is it the doll she pretends is her sister before she put on armor and left everything else behind? Or are these only the things the child grasped too hard while hugging her doll, and her dream is something deeper, something truer? You miss your sister, don't you? I whisper into her ear. You need her love. Giving her that love, seeing it and feeling it, is what I need too. I melt into the hug and send dream dust spiraling as the small bud on my head twirls open. Both dreams curl into the larger bud on my branch. I'll whisper your dream to the tree. I'll remember, I tell the girl. I'm glad I got to meet you, I add. I hope her dream hears me too. I let go of the girl and lay her down gently. With her sighs, she releases all that's been trapping in her dream. Like so many mortals, her sister may never come back to give her the love she desires. That's why she needs to dream. That's why it will always be there, and she'll never be alone, as long as she remembers to close her eyes. That's why dreams are magical, and the little girl is too. I sneeze, and the dust pollen on the bud of my head swirls away, carrying the magic of the child's dream into a wind that blows towards Mother's tree. Whoopsies, I blush, realizing I'm in the open, and before holds onto the doll tight and starts to run through the clearing. Oh ma, has sister returned? She cries to my grandmother. I just saw her, I just saw her. The girl's small outline disappears, but in her wake, following the path where she ran, dream blossoms sprout from the sparkling pollen. Perhaps when the child returns, she will pick up one of these flowers and know that in her heart, though it can't be held, the love of her sister will always bloom.